And that is the fact that today is the expiration of the $600 PUA stimulus, weekly stimulus. So what is the $600 stimulus and how did we get here, right? So it's July 25th. A lot of us, when March 16th came down and we were told that we had a stay-at-home order, we thought that it would be a couple weeks, a month, maybe. And then we started making a joke as they continued to extend us. We went a month, and then they extended us. And then, they extended us to June. And then we're like, summer 2020 is gone. And here we are, July 25th, getting ready to start and prepare for another school year, and we're still in a pandemic. Not only are we still in a pandemic, the numbers are rising, and we have no idea what's going to happen moving forward, right? So March 16th, we have a stay-at-home order. There is a world pandemic, and people are either furloughed or losing their jobs. So here comes the CARES Act. The CARES Act, which was an act that helped small businesses, that helped a multitude of different things. But specifically for this topic, it allowed for those who are on unemployment assistance to receive an additional $600 a week or $2,400 a month, including whatever unemployment they were able to get. So how did they come to that $600 number? Because I know we all got excited when we heard it, right? It was like, oh my gosh, if I'm furloughed, if I'm sitting at home, if I'm working part-time and I should be working full-time, if I was looking for a job but couldn't get one because of the pandemic, all of those things allowed me to qualify for pandemic unemployment, and I had the opportunity to get an additional $600. Well, the government used what they call the national mean to get to that number. So the average unemployment in America right now is about $371. So in order to take everyone up to 100% of the average mean in America, that's how they came to the number of $600. But here's the reality, guys. The average mean wage in America is a little bit over $50,000, but that's not the case for a lot of Americans. So there's a good 25% of America that have been receiving more while sitting at home during the pandemic than they were while they were working. So we've been receiving this since March, April, May, June. And as unemployment in February was at a really, really good rate, now unemployment in June is at 11%. And we no longer have our pandemic unemployment, but we're still not at work. Or we no longer have our pandemic unemployment and we're back at work, but we're working part-time. Or we're not receiving as many tips if we're working in the restaurant industry because we don't have as many people coming in to eat. So what is the government going to do about the pandemic, about the $600 stimulus? Well, as of right now, there isn't a solution. As of right now, after this week, if you were receiving $600 a week, you're no longer going to be receiving that money. How does that affect you? What is that going to do for you and your family financially? But secondly, how have you gotten used to that at home? So we're going to dig deep in and talk about that a little bit today. I encourage you guys, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave comments, please leave questions, please leave concerns. And again, I thank you guys so much for watching. I just really want to help break down what's happening and what's going on with everything today. So what are the options that the government are faced with right now? They could not extend the $600 stimulus, and then we would be left with what? Or they could extend the $600 stimulus and we would continue to move on as we have been moving on. The other option that has been thrown around a lot, especially in the Republican Party, is to add the stimulus back, but at a smaller rate. Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, the way they got to the $600 was they used the average mean in America, right? So about 25% of Americans have been receiving more than what they usually make. And so the Republican Party is putting up an argument in a fight that if they continue to give $600 a week, it will discourage people to go back to work. It will discourage people to look for work. It will discourage people to get back out in the working field. So they are looking to find a way to, at least that's the way they put it, right? They're looking to find a way to ensure that we try to have some way of getting back to normal. But here's the question. How has that $600 a week help the economy? What has it done for the GDP? What has it done for our small businesses? What has it done for our major businesses? That's a question that I think we really won't get the answer to until another couple months. But what I can tell you is it hasn't significantly helped our small business owners who are still struggling, who are still trying to find a way to make ends meet, who are running out of the pandemic grants that they received and the loans that they received a couple months ago, and are now back to furloughing or laying people off after they were able to bring them back in June. So let's break down our numbers a little bit when we talk about what those unemployment numbers look like. Well, in February, the unemployment numbers was at 3.5%. National unemployment was at 3.5%. In June, it is at 11%, but it's down from where it was in May, which was at its highest, which was 16%. The problem is there's still over 20 million Americans that still don't have work. So what do we do? Well, that's where it comes time where we have to make a decision for ourselves in our own household to not leave it up to the government to put money in our pockets to make ends meet and to be able to pay our bills. We have to find a way now to say, listen, we can't depend on this $600 stimulus. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's dig deep into some ways, some behavioral habits that we can achieve in our own home without the government to help towards the fact that we are now losing $2,400 a month in our household. One, we have to make a serious commitment to our finances. We have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what am I doing? What am I paying? What is my financial goal? And where do I want to go? Once we're able to make that commitment to ourselves and make an understanding, say, listen, this is what we need to do no matter what the government is doing for me. This is what I need to do for my family no matter what income I have coming in. And this is what I need to do my family no matter what behaviors I got used to because I may have been making a little bit more in the last couple months than I made before COVID. So the first thing that you need to do is make a serious commitment to your finances. Serious commitment to your finances. No more just swiping the card, just hitting that button on Amazon or on Walmart. No more DoorDash or Uber Eats. No more just swiping that swipe button over without having an understanding of what's going in or out of your checking account. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is examine your situation, your own personal situation. How do you do that? One, without the $600 stimulus, what money is guaranteed to come into your household? Is it zero? Is it $200 a month? Is it $300 a month? Where is that coming from? Is it $700 a month? What guaranteed income do you currently have coming into your household right now during the pandemic? Not pre-pandemic, not the hope for post-pandemic, but right now, and not including any governmental assistance that is taken away, especially the $600 stimulus. So that's the first thing you do when you examine your situation. Once you've determined what that number is, then you need to examine your fixed expenses. What do I absolutely need to live? Well, do I need to pay my mortgage? Do I need to pay my rent? What does the utilities look like? Those things. Well, I need my car. So what does my car note look like? What is my car insurance payment? What are those fixed expenses that I absolutely need to live? How much is that? And what does that look like matched up against the income that I have guaranteed coming in? Third, when you're examining your own situation, we have to now dig deep into our variable expenses. Now, this is the hard part, guys. This is the part where we have to look in the mirror and we have to be true to ourselves and we have to say, you know what, there's some things that I absolutely love, that I absolutely want to continue to keep going, but I cannot do that because I don't have a particular amount of money coming in. This is the part when we're looking at our variable expenses, we might have to cut the Disney Plus, we might have to cut the ESPN Plus or the Netflix or the Hulu or something better. Why don't we do a group purchase and we do it as a family? Why don't we call our sister or our cousin or our mom or our uncle, and why don't we get on with their plan and take that down from $6.99 or $12.99 a month to $2.99 a month or $3.99 a month? So the first thing we need to do, guys, is make a commitment. Make a commitment to your financial situation. Once you make that commitment, examine your current situation, okay? Now that you've examined your current situation, you now have to clean the clutter. What do we mean by clean the clutter? We talked about it, right? We might have to cook a little bit more. We might have to do a little bit more food shopping versus Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub. Let me tell you something. I've been doing some Grubhub and Uber Eats. I cannot stand those additional fees. I buy a $12 meal just to pay $24 after delivery fees, service fees, tips. By the time I get my food, I paid $30, and it wasn't even worth $30. When I could have took that $30, went to the market, and got maybe 2 or 3 days worth of meals, or at least 2 or 3 meals. So the fourth thing you need to do, the third thing you need to do after making the commitment, after examining your situation, is clean the clutter. So you're cleaning that clutter, those things that I don't absolutely need to live, but I got used to. I may have to cut the cable off during the pandemic until I can secure an actual job. I may have to look into discounts. I may have to take a day and get on the phone and make phone calls for those things that I need to see what type of promotions are going on so I can continue to keep the way I want to live, right? So after we've made that commitment, after we've examined our situation, after we've begun to clean the clutter, now it's time to create that budget. We know how much money we have coming in. So now that amount, it might be $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. We know we're guaranteed to have $2,000 a month coming in from whatever it is, from our part-time income, from our child support, our alimony, whatever we have coming in that's guaranteed, that's what we want to make our budget off of. And then we need to look at our fixed expenses. So once we made that commitment, once we've examined our situation, we cleaned the clutter, now we're creating a budget based off of the situation that we've examined. We've got rid of those things that aren't really necessities, that might be wants, that might be things that may help with our cost of living. It may even help with our mental state during this time. But we have to find other ways to utilize them. I'm not saying cut them off. I'm saying find creative ways to continue with them. Again, like a Netflix, a Disney Plus, a ESPN. I just got an email from Verizon that Disney Plus now comes free with my internet. So guess what? I'll be cutting off. I'll be cutting off my subscribed Disney Plus, and I'll be resubscribing for free under my Verizon login and saving myself $6.99. But I still have Disney Plus. Those are the things that I'm talking about when I say clean the clutter, okay? And then lastly, know the rules. For those of you who've watched my YouTube channel, who've been a part of my financial workshops, who see some of my tips on social media, Instagram and Facebook, 50, 30, 20. I know this number is hard to come across, especially during this pandemic and during this time. But 50% of our income should be going towards our fixed expenses. 30% should be coming to us for the Disney Plus, for the ESPN, for the fun in the sun, the beach trips, whatever it is that we look to do. And then 20% should be going towards our savings. So when we're looking at making that financial commitment for our family, examining our financial situation, cleaning out the clutter and the things that we're consistently paying for that we may not need to pay for, and then creating that budget, we're creating the budget based off the rules. And if our numbers are a little off, that's okay. That's what people like myself are here for. That's why you go to my YouTube channel. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, go to my YouTube, link in the bio, and subscribe now and get those additional budgeting tips. Get that additional financial advice. Get the additional tools and resources that you need in order to survive. Because let me tell you something. As of next week, when you receive your unemployment and your debit card or your direct deposit or however else you receive it, there's a strong possibility that $600 will no longer be there. Now, there's 3 things that could happen. They could do a stopgap because, again, it is an election year, right? And although the CARES Act says that the $600 weekly stimulus ends today, these guys are constituents that want to be reelected. And they don't want to anger us before we have the opportunity to vote for them. By the way, guys, this is the most important election in my lifetime that I can think of. We have the right to vote. Go utilize it. Go vote in November. Okay, now back to finances. Another thing that might happen with the $600 stimulus, again, is they're talking about lowering the amount that they give us. So we'll go from $600 to $400. So they may continue the $600 until they come up with a solution. So we may get a surprise next week. Or it seems like the Republicans will be releasing a new proposal on Monday that will include possibly a second one-time stimulus check, as well as an updated amount for the weekly stimulus. So, no matter what happens, guys, remember the 5 key tools that I talked about today. All right. First, make the financial commitment to yourself, to your family, to your household. Once you do that, examine your financial situation. Look at what you have coming in. Look at what you have going out. And then clean the clutter. Once you clean the clutter, build a budget, create a plan, and know the rules. I'm here for any questions. I definitely wanted to have an open discussion. So if there's anyone who has any questions on what we discussed, what we talked about today, please feel free to leave it in the comment area. I definitely would love to answer any questions, comments, concerns that anybody has on the stimulus and or what to do if we no longer receive the stimulus. But I wanted to come on and share that information with you guys because it's very important to me to help ensure that we're able to continue to move up, move out, get what we want, how we want, and have financial freedom. So one, we need to be able to understand and utilize the resources that we have, know when they're going to continue, when they're going to end, but also understand what to do if we don't have those resources. And I understand right now is a hard time for all of us. And with the amount of money that we've had coming in, now is the time to look at what we have left in our bank account, what expenses we have going out on a monthly basis, and what money that we consistently have coming in. This is the time to do it. So again, I'll save some time if there's any questions. I don't see any right now, but I definitely want to leave it open for a Q&A session. I wanted to have an open discussion and dialogue with you guys about what's happening because this is unprecedented, right? It was unprecedented that we got the $600 a week, and now it's unprecedented that they're taking it away. They giveth and they taketh away. Now, one of the good things is if you are on unemployment and if you are on pandemic unemployment, the unemployment benefits will continue through whatever the max amount that you are supposed to receive. You just won't be receiving the additional $600 bonus stimulus per week that you're receiving. So if you were receiving $300, $400 a week plus the $600, the $400 will continue on until your max benefit expires. And so in Pennsylvania, the max amount that anyone could receive in unemployment or pandemic unemployment was $572. And in New Jersey, it was $713. So some people in New Jersey were receiving $5,200 a month over the last 2 months. That is unprecedented from the government alone. So listen, guys. One of the things is, and that's a great point, some people don't even have a job to go back to. So, in thinking about that, when we talk about the fact that, listen, unemployment rate is down from May, from 16% to 11%. But the fact of the matter is, there's still over 20 million Americans that are still left without a job, that are left without an opportunity to go back to, that are left without a place to go. And so when you're looking at that, when you think about that, if that is your situation, what do you do? What can we do? So one, like I said, is look at what you have guaranteed coming in. If that is the regular unemployment over that 26-week time period or that 39-week time period, how can you maximize on that? But also, what is your passion and your purpose And how can you monetize your passion and your purpose? Because we are in a brand new world. I'm sitting right now in my home studio, which I will be a lot over the next 3 months, building out workshops and different webinars for you guys to continue to bring financial literacy and financial understanding to you. Find a way to make money in your home. If you can't find a way now, you'll never be able to find a way. You'll never be able to take that first step. You'll never be able to make that full commitment to be your own boss, to be that entrepreneur, to own your own business, to do what you need to do. A lot of us were working on other people's dreams, and now they decided that they don't even want us to help them work towards that. So what do you do if you're sitting at home with 3 kids and you don't have a job to go back to? What do you do if you're sitting at home and you have bills piled up for months and you don't have a job to go back to? Again, number one, you have to make a commitment. I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating. I know it's a struggle. But listen, every storm ends at some point, and usually there's a big, beautiful rainbow at the end of it. But right now, while it's dark and cloudy, while the rain is coming down, while it's raining dogs and cats and hell on you, remember one thing. You control how your future looks. You can be the change maker, not just for yourself, but for the world and for everything else that's going on around right now. So like you said, there are people who don't have jobs to go back to. This is the time to sit down and really realize, well, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Because most of you didn't like that job you were at anyway. Most of you didn't like what you were doing for a living. Most of you didn't want to be at that 9 to 5. Most of you were looking for other positions and other opportunities anyway. So now what? The best time is now. Don't start tomorrow. Don't start in an hour. Start now. First, start by going to YouTube and subscribing to my YouTube channel. But after that, start to research what you like. Maybe take an opportunity now to go back to school, to get that additional certificate or that additional designation. If you always love to cook, go get that Save Surf certification. Become a caterer. I know I have a very good friend of mine who's doing an excellent job of monetizing her gift as an event planner. Even in this pandemic, you can find a way to be successful. Event planning in this pandemic is a new world. Balloons and decorations. That's still something that's needed in today. We're still celebrating graduations. We're still celebrating anniversaries. We're still celebrating birthdays, the births of our children. We're still celebrating accomplishments. So if you feel like you're creative and you want to be an event planner, maybe that's what you do if you don't have a job to go back to. If you love to cook, take that cooking and create a business behind it. But I'm not going to stay on too much longer. If there are any questions for anybody, again, guys, huge announcement coming. I'm so excited. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting patiently for our investment workshop and our budgeting workshop. That and more is coming to you in a couple weeks, and we're making that huge announcement on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also go to experience.shine.com and subscribe to our mailing list, because we have a plethora of announcements coming up. Do you have workshops on starting a business? Yes, we do. That's again, huge announcement coming. We do have workshops on starting a business. Steve, you want to make sure you go to my website and subscribe to my mailing list, and make sure you also go on ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we'll be discussing that in a couple weeks. So excited. Business partners that we have, different people that we're working with under Shine LLC to bring a multitude of things to you guys. I said a long time ago, and I'll say it again, I made a commitment to help ensure that we close the wealth gap in America. I am truly an advocate for economic success, not just for one race, but for all races. And I'm going to do everything I can with the knowledge that I have, with the ability that I have, with the resources that I have, and the business partners that I have, to bring all of that to you. So if you're looking on how to start a business, if you're looking on how to monetize your passion and your purpose, if you're looking to find out best ways to budget with the money that you have coming in because you're on a fixed income or no income and you have a chunk of money in your savings that you're looking to make work for the next couple months until you can figure out what's going on, you need to subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to our mailing list, because we have a multitude of things coming up for you guys. And all I'm trying to do, man, is just make sure that we close that gap. There's no reason why in America that the gap between black wealth and white wealth is 10-1. There's no reason why in America that the gap between white income and black income is a $12,000 difference. There's no reason why. There's no reason for that. We need to ensure that we're educating ourselves, getting those resources, and finding those job opportunities that's going to pay us what we are worth. So again, if there's any other questions, comments, concerns, the dialogue and the conversation is for you guys. So please type your questions into the comments if you have questions. If not, please make sure you go subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to our mailing list on experiencesean.com. I'm so excited about the things that we have coming for you guys. Listen, it's crunch time, right? A lot of things happening, and I'm just sitting here plunging away because there's so much information out there, and I want to ensure that we have a way to get to it, that we are able to get to those resources, to maximize those resources, and in order to make sure that our lifestyle, our living is as comfortable as it can be. We need financial freedom. You need financial freedom. Everyone needs financial freedom. So listen, guys, I agree. We need to take ownership. We definitely need to take ownership. Listen, guys, if there isn't any questions, I'll leave you guys to the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for coming on a Saturday evening to talk with me, to talk about what's going on with the $600 stimulus. And that's a huge point, Ross. The key thing is to educate our youth, and we need to hit them to change the trend. And again, I was on my way out the door, but that's a huge thing for me. We definitely need to educate ourselves, but we need to educate those who are coming up behind us too, so that way they can have a better way than we had it, right? So that's so important. That's a great point. That is a huge key. Educate ourselves and educate our youth. And so those are things that we're going to be doing. So make sure that you're plugged in. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to our mailing list. But if there isn't any other questions, again, I thank you guys for joining me on this Saturday night. I thought it was so important to come on and share this information with you. So please, if you would, comment, share, like, start a watch party, put this on your timeline, or whatever it is. If you felt that this was great information, please share it with someone else. Share it on your timeline, send it in a text message, send it in an email, share, and then tell them to go subscribe to the YouTube and the website. Question just came in. How do you flip that $600? That's a great question, and we're actually going to be discussing that in a couple weeks. But one of the things that I'll say here is, if you happen to be one of the lucky ones to be receiving an extra $2,400 a month over the last couple months and did not need that additional $2,400, but you don't yet own a business or you just started a business, that's your seed money. That's your seed money. If you feel like that in the past you have not lived up to your own personal savings goals, then that should have been where you started to maximize whatever savings allotment or lump sum you were looking for. And thirdly, I know a lot of you guys were talking about, well, how can I invest? How can I invest? How can I invest? And if the Republicans come out on Monday talking about a second stimulus check, then it may be a very huge decision, but smart decision, to decide to invest it in the market. So how do you flip your $600? One, you invest it in yourself, either through investing in the market, investing in the business, or investing in a savings plan. So again, for more information, subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to our mailing list on experiencesean.com, share this live on your timeline, email it to somebody, text it to somebody. There are over 20 million Americans that are still without a job, and over 40 million Americans on the pandemic unemployment assistance. So I know that there's a multitude of you out there who needed to hear this information. And that's why I felt it important to come on a Saturday evening and share it with you. So again, thank you guys so much for jumping on with me. I hope that this was of help to you. I hope that this kind of helped ease your pain and your stress. I hope that this encouraged you to take the next step. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.